Chapter 082. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh. Do you want to do it to me? Kankuro didn't care when he saw Sasuke's appearance, but carried Konohamaru in front of him. Then I'll solve this little devil first, and then free my hand to clean you up. Behind Kankuro, Temari said helplessly, Stop, Kankuro, don't make a big deal out of it. It's okay, Temari. Kankuro swung his fist directly at Konohamaru's cheek, and he croaked his teeth and smiled, Before the annoying guys come, let's play with them. By the way, I also explored the reality of Konoha. They didn't come here just to take the Zonnin exam. Temari disagrees with Kankuro's behavior. What can he detect by moving towards a few imps? In fact, the main thing is that Kankuro has a bad personality, and based on his fear of AI Luo, he has always hated imps. I was accidentally bumped by Konohamaru just now, and this is just a play on the topic, swish. As a result, Kankuro's fist swung into the air, a figure flashed quickly and had already taken Konohamaru away from his hand, so fast. Kankuro's eyes narrowed, and he found that the person who rescued Konohamaru was actually Sasuke. Just now, the two were still several meters apart, and Kankuro was actually on guard when he threw his fist, but he still didn't see Sasuke's movements clearly. Hey 23, bullying children only proves your weakness and incompetence. Sasuke put Konohamaru down and said to Kankuro with an indifferent face, He's a nice man. Temari saw Sasuke, who had successfully pretended to be successful, and his cheeks were also a little red. It's not that she is a fool. In the end, the country of the wind sand hidden village, there is really nothing that can be eye-catching, just like her own brother by her side. It's just unbelievable, clams. Does this mean I'm weak? Kankuro felt offended, unbandaged himself, and took the puppet crow off his back. Interesting. Then let me see how strong you are. Stop, Kankuro. Without waiting for Kankuro to make a move, an indifferent voice sounded, causing the faces of everyone present except Naruto to change collectively. I saw a figure more pretentious than Sasuke hanging upside down on a large tree next to the street. He clasped his hands in front of him and said with an indifferent face, The guy who lost the face of the village. I love Luo. Kankuro broke out in a cold sweat. On the other side, Naruto didn't care about these people. Anyway, he knew that the most he could do now was a simple conflict, and he couldn't fight at all. After Konohamaru was rescued by Sasuke, he briefly teased Mo Huang again before putting her back and then turning his gaze to Temari, the princess of Shine Village. This is a heroic woman. You guy will only disgrace the village. Why do you think we came all the way to Konoha? I'm still preaching, Kankuro. Listen to me. I love Luo. These guys came up first to make trouble. Kankuro hurriedly defended, Shut up. I love Luo. Didn't listen to this. His eyes narrowed, and he said murderously, Slaughtered you. No. Got it, sorry, really sorry. Kankuro shivered with fright. I really can't stop you. Iroh said insincere words with a blank face, and then silently looked at Sasuke. Both were sure that the two sides were definitely rare opponents. Swish. I love Rosa and fall to the ground, but before my feet can stand firm, I quickly jump backwards with a swoop. This behavior made everyone a little confused, and soon everyone noticed that Iroha's eyes were fixed behind Temari. Temari and Kankuro seemed to sense something, their expressions stiffened, and the mechanics seemed to slowly turn around. What is the situation that can make me Iroh so vigilant? As a result, what they saw was Naruto, who was still bullying Xiao Mo Huang just now. When Temari and Kankuro changed color at the same time, wasn't it still on the opposite side before? When he ran behind them, there was no movement at all. So, this is Konoha's inferiority. Gee, at first glance it's really good, and when you look close, it's even better. Naruto looked Temari up and down. Just now, from behind him, the curve was quite okay. Anyway, it threw Sakura several streets away. Not far from the opposite side, Sakura had already pouted and was very unhappy, and Xiao Menghuang next to him was actually a little eaten. But speaking of which, he had just teased her, and he had empathized so quickly. Men are really big pigs trotters. You guy, Kankuro gritted his teeth, but forcibly held back his anger. This is a guy who bullies the soft and fears the hard, and he doesn't dare to provoke the existence that even AI Luo has to be wary of. Temari saw Kankuro's reaction, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he was suddenly a little tired. You look like this, it's so rude. Temari could only glare at Naruto in annoyance, and with a smack, he slammed the 3-star fan on the ground. Although the yellow-haired boy on the opposite side looks handsome, what is rare is the type she likes, but Temari is not a random woman. In this case, then I apologize to you. Naruto bowed down towards Temari seriously, confusing the latter. However, since Naruto was not hostile, they were also relieved. Ero took a deep look at Naruto and said to Temari and Kankuro, let's go, we're not here to play. I know. Kankuro tied up the crow and quickly followed Iroh, and Temari chased after Naruto. After taking a look at Naruto, Naruto rubbed his chin, his gaze still on Temari's back. It's not that he is reserved, it's just that the right time is not right to say too much, let alone do something out of line. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Don't look at just a few of them here, but there are still many figures hidden around. The rain is faint, the sound is faint, the grass is hidden, all kinds of cows, ghosts, snakes, and gods gathered in Konoha, and the slightest movement would attract their attention. Hey, guy over there, what's your name? Sasuke 727 still failed to hold it after all, and called me Ero. I love Luo of the Sand Falls. Iroh turned around, I'm a little interested in you too, your name? Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke smiled lightly, with a hint of fighting intent on his face. It was a pity that now was not the time for them to fight. What about you? Iroh looked at Naruto again and said, I can feel that there is a very unusual power hidden in you. Oh, I'm not interested in you. Naruto waved his hand, but looked at Temari, that beautiful young lady. I don't know if your father lacks a son-in-law. I can get into it. Poof, Temari stumbled at his feet, his pretty face a little red. Is it that blunt? But it seems that it is not impossible to consider. Hey, Temari, you're not really thinking about it, are you? Kankuro's eyes were about to pop out. This blonde imp annoyed him more than the black-haired one. Temari's face turned even redder, and he said angrily, what nonsense. Let's go. She stomped her foot hard, turned away a little embarrassed, and looked more like she had fled. My name is Naruto, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto shouted at Temari's back, Sister Temari, love you. Temari stumbled again, almost threw himself on the street, and quickly fled at a faster speed. Naruto Uzumaki. That's interesting. Iroh took a deep look at Naruto and flashed away. Chapter 083. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What's wrong? Is something wrong? After the Tsunehide squad left, Naruto turned around, only to find everyone present staring at him blankly. Boom. You guy, Sasuke pouted unpleasantly and left directly. The instantaneous technique that Naruto ran behind Temari just now was not even noticed by him. It was clear that he was still with him before this, but he didn't see anything. This made Sasuke more aware of the gap between himself and the current Naruto, and his heart was naturally extremely unbalanced. Yay! Big brother Naruto, you are my idol, I adore you too much. Konohamaru's face was full of little miser, and he almost knelt down and hugged his thighs. Although it was Sasuke who saved him just now, it was Naruto who was the most popular, and fools can see that the 3-person squad of Sand-in on the opposite side is all afraid of Naruto. So even though Naruto had avoided Konohama as much as possible, he still turned into a little fan brother. Not only that, but Udon and Mo Huang also looked at Naruto with adoration. The look of anticipation is like saying, hurry up and take my knees. Little things, small things, it's all small things. Naruto waved his hand, but his face showed that his mouth was almost grinning to the back of his head. It's so sad to say to my face that you want to introduce others. Sakura stood beside him with a depressed look. Just kidding, because I know she won't say yes. Naruto smiled awkwardly, put his arm around Sakura's waist and brought her into his arms, not avoiding the gaze of the Konohamaru Legion, and gave Sakura a deep mouth. Well, I still stretched out the snake's head. Wow. The Konohamaru Legion was stunned one by one, and their faces turned red. Mo Huang used his hand to block Konohamaru and Udon's eyes, but he couldn't turn his eyes. Konohamaru and Udon certainly won't be honest either. looking through the slits between Mo Huang's fingers. It took a long time before Sakura finally came to her senses, quickly interrupted, and buried her head in Naruto's arms as an ostrich. Naruto smiled inwardly. This is done. Sakura is so easy. As for the Konoha Maru Legion, it's just a little brat, who cares? Brother Naruto. Konohamaru stretched his little tail finger fiercely. She shouldn't be yours. Aha. Naruto couldn't help but roll his eyes. It was already like this, and he still needed to ask. Sure enough, a little fart is a little fart, child. Naruto first calmed Sakura twice, and after letting her go, he turned to Konohamaru and said, since you all call me big brother, then I can simply teach you a trick that can defeat your grandfather's 3 generations. Wow, hiss. The Konoha Maru Legion's eyes lit up instantly. Sakura, who was still shy, also looked over with curious eyes. Can you beat Sandaime? Even if there is such a trick, it is definitely not something that a little devil like Konohamaru can do. Sakura instinctively told her that Naruto must be trying to fool Konohamaru, but she couldn't help but be curious. Well, my trick is special and doesn't apply to girls. So Sakura, please send Mo Huang home, and then it's time for us boys. Naruto just wanted to bring Orochimaru, but he didn't want to stain Sakura and Mo's eyes. How so? Xiao Menghuang was very unhappy. Sakura also said depressedly, I'm curious too. Okay, I'll teach you other tricks that apply to you, so it's always okay, right? Naruto wasn't perfunctory, but they didn't know if they wanted to learn it or not. Anyway, the tricks he wants to teach must be the kind that can only be used on him personally. Okay. Naruto said so, and Sakura could only agree. After all, she had little resistance to Naruto's words. Your name is Mo Huang, right? Go with your sister, and before you go home, your sister will take you to eat meatballs. Sakura walked over and touched Mo's head, then took her hand and walked together. Of course she knows Naruto's dream, so this little Mo Yellow should also be Naruto's target, so let's get a good relationship first. Hearing that there were balls to eat, little Mo Huang didn't care what tricks Naruto was going to teach Konohamaru, and immediately left with Sakura with joy. I want to eat meatballs too. Udon was bubbling with snot and looked like he was bored. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Konohamaru knocked his head and cursed, stupid, as long as you learn the tricks that can defeat my grandfather, don't you want as many balls as you want? Is that so? Udon didn't understand the causal relationship at all, however, he still believed it, and then said with a look of anticipation, Brother Naruto, can I learn too? Okay. Naruto didn't care about one more pendant, then he took the two to a training ground where no one was and asked, have you all learned the transformation technique? Does the new trick still have anything to do with the transfiguration? I'm absolutely fine with this. Konohamaru looked excited and expectant. He is the grandson of 3 generations and has a private tutor, and of course it is difficult for Konohamaru to lose the transformation technique. Udon was a little embarrassed. I can only barely use it, but I am not very skilled in using it. It's okay, just go back and practice more. Naruto didn't care about Udon at all, he was just a passerby to him, so after briefly determining their level, I told them the trick of astringency. Listen, Konohamaru, this must be seen and thought about and practiced, but until it is completed, it must not be known by anyone, otherwise it will have no effect. Naruto instructed again after teaching. Konohamaru thought seriously for a long time, and did not find out where this astringent seduction technique was strong and how to defeat his grandfather. After all, in the original work, he had personally seen the astringent seduction technique work in front of the 3 generations, and he firmly believed it. Although he was a little suspicious in his heart, Konohamaru still assured, no problem, Brother Naruto. But think more and practice more. I can understand. What does it mean to see more? Do I want to buy some magazines and books to practice on them? That I have to say that Konohamaru is still very brainy, but Naruto directly vetoed. Stupid, how does what you see in the book compare to real people? With so many people in your ape flying clan, can't you find a woman who is willing to model for you and keep it secret? Oh sure. So it is. Konohamaru's eyes suddenly lit up, and sure enough, Naruto's big brother was smart. As for Udon's not being a member of a large family and there are no models to use, Konohamaru said that when he finds his own model, he can let Udon come and study together. Well, seeing this scene, Naruto definitely did not secretly smile in his heart. He was sincerely helping the two children fulfill their dreams. Okay, Konohamaru. I know you still have doubts about the astringent technique, so let's let you witness its power with your own eyes. Transformation. Naruto made a seal, and a dark-haired woman with perfect curves appeared in place, dressed coolly and in a bloody pose. At this time, Ebisu, who came to look for Konohamaru, just rushed over, and when he saw this scene in front of him, his eyes suddenly widened, and the whole person stiffened in place. 3 seconds later, nosebleeds spurted wildly, and Ebisu lay on all fours facing the ground, his legs kicked and his face covered with YD. Konohamaru and Udon instantly bowed to Naruto. Chapter 084. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After seeing the damage caused by the astringent technique to an elite teacher like Ebisu, Konohama was successfully taken crooked by Naruto and went back to his home full of confidence to find a model. Naruto hummed a ditty and returned home, but it was a pity that Yuki was not at home. Due to the joint Zongen exam, there have been too many cows, ghosts, snakes and gods in the village recently, and in order to avoid accidents, the dark department basically has to work overtime. It seems that before the end of the Chunin exam, Shien will have a hard time having time. Oh no, after the Chunin exam, because the third generation of the Eye went to see the Shinigami, and the fifth generation of the Head took the throne, I am afraid that the dark department will be busier at that time. Alas, poor sister Shien. Naruto sighed. He couldn't help in this matter, but fortunately, he was busy, and Shien would not be in any danger. Even if there is a butterfly effect because of his change, there is a tailed beast coat just in case. What are you lamenting? You are so sentimental at a young age. Sunset Red's voice pulled Naruto back from his musings, and seeing that she had sat down on the sofa opposite him, Naruto complained, Tang Konoha Kami Shinobu actually broke into someone's house without even saying hello, and jumped on the balcony. How? Stinky 520 imps, do you have an opinion? Sunset slapped the table and stood up to glare at Naruto. Naruto's neck shrunk and said weakly, of course it's okay, I just think that the act of jumping off the balcony is very dangerous. Don't do this in the future, or go to the gate safely. Count you interesting. Sunset Hong sat back satisfied. Naruto thought to himself, he would have to jump on the balcony a few times to level it back, and I want to jump while the sunset is red in the bath, and I don't know if she has the habit of closing the door when she takes a bath. There should be none. After all, she has always lived alone. By the way, you already know about the Chunin exam, right? Sunset Red spoke. Kakashi has already signed you up, and all 9 newcomers will participate this time. What a rare event. Shaman actually only has a recommended place, but since the name has been recommended, it is basically equivalent to signing up. After all, those who can obtain the registration qualification will basically not choose to give up. Aren't you worried that the strength of your students is too good and something unexpected will happen during the exam? What if it causes lifelong sequelae? Naruto choked lightly. Sunset, CDDB, Red couldn't help but pause, and said angrily, stinky little ghost, sister didn't offend you, right? What's going on with me all the time looking for stubble today? Who let you not fulfill what you promised me yesterday? Naruto said with his neck twisted. Shirihon was slightly stunned, but soon reacted, and couldn't help but laugh. You little satyr, you actually remember this matter. When he took a bath yesterday, Naruto wanted to hug Sunset Red, but he was avoided by Sunset Red, and he has been worried about it, but I never promised you, it's just wishful thinking. Sunset Red ignored Naruto, who was snorting, and said instead, okay, let's get down to business. I already mentioned it to the 3rd generation Sama, and he agreed to let me take you to visit Yakumo. There is still a week before the official start of the Chunin exam, so you can take an hour every day to accompany me to unravel Yakumo. If it was Naruto, Yurihon believed that Yakumo would slowly become cheerful. Don't do it. Naruto looked away. If you don't play kissing and hugging with me, I won't go with you to meet Yakumo. Stinky imp. Sunset Hong suddenly gritted her teeth, and she was really pinched. There was no way, she could only stand up helplessly, opened her arms and said, okay, just this once. Naruto suddenly smiled, and ran over to hug Sunset Hong. His body was close to it, and he rubbed it a few times. Of course, Sunset Red discovered Naruto's small movements, which she actually did not dislike, so she forcibly accepted it with shame. The reason why he kept refusing was just to tease Naruto. A hug is nothing at all, and she can accept being taken advantage of, but in comparison, she liked Naruto more than the way she coveted her. No. As Sunset Red was about to finish, Naruto suddenly spoke, "This is different from yesterday, we have to change our outfits to count." Sunset immediately understood what he meant, yesterday's attire. Yesterday, in order to take a bath, there was no costume at all. This little soul is faint, and he is changing the law to take advantage of it. Don't take an inch. Sunset Red threatened, holding Naruto's ear. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Oh, it's not because I like Sister Red. Naruto coquettishly said in her arms, "Are you going to refuse the love of a pure boy? It's cruel." Although Naruto was still rubbing and rubbing there, not missing a single opportunity, Sunset Red was still amused by him. "Are you still a pure boy?" Shirihong smiled helplessly. "If it weren't for your young age, you wouldn't know how many women you would have to kill. It's simply unscrupulous. Seriously, I'm really worried that when Naruto grows up, he won't know how to converge in this regard, and I'm afraid it will be quite troublesome at that time. As for now, Sunset Red is completely regarded as a child's play, more because of adolescence, curiosity, and yearning for the opposite sex, right?" "Nonsense." Naruto's eyes widened and said, "I'm not a vegetarian, only a beautiful woman like Sister Hong I would like." Okay, I said the wrong thing." Sunset Hong was also very happy to be praised, and quickly pulled the topic back and said, "Yakumo is actually very beautiful, so from tomorrow, accompany me to meet her, okay?" Well, this has already used a childlike tone, and Sunset Red is also very helpless to Naruto. Naruto thought for a moment and said, "But always think of a way to get close to her. It would seem very abrupt if I just went with you like this, right?" "Sister Hong didn't say it. Yakumo complained about you. If you took me over, she would definitely be wary." "That's right, I didn't think it through." Sunset Hong couldn't help but frown. "In this way, tomorrow you will take advantage of the Zongnan exam that is imminent, and then you will be very busy and have no time to see Yakumo. As an excuse, take Yakumo outside to relax, and then I will pretend to meet by chance." Naruto quickly had an idea. Although this method is simple, in many cases, the simpler the method, the more flawless it is. Sunset agreed after a little thought. The specific details did not need to be discussed at all. She believed that Naruto would definitely be able to play well. "How long are you going to lie on me?" After finishing business, Sunset Red saw that Naruto was still lying in front of her with a look of enjoyment, and she was suddenly a little funny. If you can help her solve Yakumo's problem, in fact, it will be no problem to let her lie down a few more times. Naruto seemed to read Sunset Red's heart, and rubbed it again, but he couldn't get up, half squinting his eyes, and said, "Don't argue. I have to think carefully about how to make Sister Yakumo happy." "It's really..." Sunset smiled helplessly and gently hugged Naruto. "Add another chapter. Thank you Frost Shadow TM for the reward, and ask for some flowers by the way." Chapter 085. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Teacher Hong, I thought of a very good technique." The next day, when Sunset Red was accompanying Yakumo to relax, Naruto suddenly ran over with a look of excitement, shouting as he ran. Hearing Naruto's words, Sunset Red understood what he meant, and secretly said a clever word in his heart. "Hong-sensei, he is." Yakumo was attracted by Naruto's hearty smile, and rarely took the initiative to ask Yuri Red about Naruto's identity. There are other people." Naruto pretended to be surprised, and greeted Yakumo with a smile. "Hello, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I've been learning illusion with Teacher Hong recently. Are you also a disciple of Teacher Hong?" "Well, my name is Yakumo, Kurama Yakumo." Yakumo looked at Naruto with slight curiosity. Under normal circumstances, she should be very indifferent to everyone, but Naruto had already activated the Asura buff when he was closer, and Yakumo was naturally affected. "I'm afraid that no one in the entire ninja world can ignore the Asura buff. After all, even the existence of Nagato and Obito who want to destroy the world can be corrected, let alone others." So in the Sunset Red looks a little weird. "Naruto, this guy is really so magical? You just said that you thought of a technique. Is it an illusion? Can you let me see it too?" Yakumo finished greeting Naruto and took the initiative to ask about what had just happened. Unable to become a ninja due to her physical reasons, Yakumo is very yearning for ninja abilities, especially related to illusion. Of course you can. Naruto patted his body, looked at Sunset Red, and asked, Teacher Hong, is it okay? Sunset Red thought that Naruto was worried about Yakumo's body, thought about it and said, you can do it to me and Yakumo, so that it will be fine. When she was teaching Naruto illusion before, she found that although Naruto worked hard, he was really not the material to learn illusion. The illusion technique is mainly performed through spiritual power, combined with the yin attribute chakra, but Naruto is strong in body energy, and the yang attribute chakra is more vigorous. Therefore, if you practice illusion, it can be said that it is completely contrary to Naruto's physique, and naturally you can only do half the effort, but after all, Naruto was still learning the basics at that time. And Sunset Red didn't say much. Now Naruto said that he had thought of a great illusion. And Yuri Red didn't expect it at all, just as an excuse to get close to Yakumo. Then I'll come. Naruto made several seals on his hands, but after waiting for a long time, nothing happened. Yakumo blinked his eyes with a hint of a smile in the corner of his eye. Shirihong also forced a smile and comforted. It doesn't matter if you fail, as long as you practice a few more times, you will always succeed. No, I've made it. Naruto spread his hands with an innocent look. Sunset Red and Yakumo are unknown. Sunset Hong deliberately sensed it and found that there were really subtle spiritual power fluctuations. This is really in the midst of illusion, but why hasn't anything changed? That's what I thought. Naruto explained, illusion is all about deceiving the enemy's perception and making it false, right? Then as long as I make the illusion exactly like reality, will the enemy not be able to find out? Even if it can be found, it will definitely take a while to react. In theory, it is, because the surrounding situation has not changed at all. Even if you notice an energy fluctuation, you will not suspect that it is an illusion. But what's the point of your trick? Sunset Red is puzzled. The illusion is hit, but the enemy is not restrained, and the second is not attacked. What is the use of this illusion? If it is still the same as other illusions, through line of sight interference, with reality to attack, then there will still be flaws. Then it is no different from other illusions. But that's all I did. Why do I have to attack? Naruto said strangely. This made Sunset Red even more confused, and Yakumo had no idea what Naruto's purpose was. Naruto also stopped selling guanzi, and said with a smile, actually, it's okay. He made a few more seals, and the scene changed instantly, and there was a sea in front of him, sands, waves, sunsets, seagulls. Beautiful. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Wow. Yakumo's beautiful eyes lit up, and she covered her small open mouth with her hand. The red eyes of the sunset are also a little confused. Such a beautiful scenery is indeed rare, and it can only be replaced casually in illusion. At this time, she had vaguely understood what Naruto meant. This illusion is not used against the enemy at all, but to satisfy one's own visual enjoyment. Beautiful, right? Naruto looked proud, and in front of Sunset Red and Yakumo, he lay down on the beach, his hands behind his head. In fact, my ability is not enough. I can only do this step, otherwise I will arrange a beautiful encounter in front, so that I can watch it as a movie, or a live version. Naruto smiled. Not only that, if you have strong ability, you can actually build a real second world. In the world of illusion, the spellcaster is a god and can have whatever he wants. Is that what you said? Sunset Hong smiled slightly, and her hands were sealed. Soon, not far away, by the waves, two figures, a man and a woman, chased and frolicked with each other, and finally hugged and kissed each other, against the backdrop of a golden sunset. It is even more dreamlike. Yakumo was completely attracted by this scene, and his mind seemed to fly to the man and woman. At this moment, Yakumo can only see the young girl's yearning for beauty, and he can't see the slightest bit of gloom. Sunset Red quietly gave Naruto a thumbs up, but he didn't expect that it was just a small illusion to achieve this point. If I can become a ninja, I can definitely do better. However, not long after, Yakumo suddenly became depressed again. This kind of shallow use of illusion is too low level for a blood successor like her who has the control of the five senses. If she were to cast it, the effect would definitely be more realistic and shocking. Sunset Hong couldn't help but sigh slightly. seeing Yakumo's depressed appearance, her heart clenched. Sister Yakumo. Naruto walked up to Yakumo and put his arm around her shoulders. I don't know what happened to you, but I guess it has something to do with your body, right? It can be seen that your physique is very weak. So, do you want to do proper physical exercise? I think as long as your physique gets better, it should help, right? I can exercise with you every day. Asura buff stimulated, so that Yakumo did not resist Naruto's intimate movements, but was very affectionate with Naruto. Does that really work? Yakumo is not very confident, because her body is too weak. She usually has to rely on medication. If you exercise, you may not have exercised, and your body collapsed first. As long as after rigorous calculation, and accurate data is obtained, and the scale is controlled, it is absolutely no problem. Naruto gave Yakumo a thumbs up. Yakumo was convinced, or rather, this is also the scarf she longs for and looks forward to. Chapter 086. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sunset Red didn't know if it was good or bad to let Yakumo exercise, but anyway, their purpose had been achieved. Let Naruto approach Yakumo and stay by her side for a long time. Yakumo didn't have any guards, and Sunset Red was relieved. For the next few days, Naruto would spend an hour playing with Yakumo, chatting and doing small exercises with little load. Although Yakumo's body could not have improved so quickly in a short period of time, the whole person's spirit was different. Although most of her previous situation was due to the negative effects brought by blood succession, the bigger reason was that she was too young, the pressure on her body was too great to bear, and there was no one around her who could share joy, anger, and sorrow. Naruto's appearance was a light in her life. Whether or not it can change her situation, at least the mood is a lot more relaxed. Naruto didn't rush, to find a way to help her solve Ito's problem, which was not something that needed to be solved urgently. The reason why Ito appeared, in addition to the pressure of Yakumo being too much to breed heart demons, is also because the spiritual power brought by the control of the five senses is too great, but the physique is too weak, and the physical energy and spiritual energy are out of balance. As long as Yakumo's body energy can keep up, she may be able to use Ito's power for her own use, and then her ability will be on a higher level, and it may not be comparable to kaleidoscopic illusion. But that's all for later. As the time for the start of the Zonnin exam got closer and closer, there were more and more bulls, ghosts, snakes, and gods in the village. Fortunately, Konoha's deterrent power is still there. No matter what careful these people have, they have to converge in Konoha. Kakashi no longer took the 7th class out of the task. Let them practice and summarize in the days before the exam began. Sakura and Sasuke were sharpening their knives in battle, while Naruto was still doing well. It is impossible to cultivate, just leave everything to the shadow avatar. You can only accompany the sister paper, play more tricks to live a good life. The country of waves is developing steadily, and her relationship with Dragon Tongue is quietly improving, but she still has some scruples in her heart and does not really open her heart to Naruto. On the side of Tanakuni, Wind Demon Sasumu has been found, but she insists on finding her cousin Wind Demon Erasure and refuses to go with Dragonfly and Kotoheim. For the time being, I can only leave her alone, let the dragonflies watch them, and wait for Naruto to free up time to clean her up. Time passed quietly, and finally on the day of the Zonnin exam, the 3-person team took the registration form together and went to classroom 302 in a certain teaching building. Bang! Naruto and his party just came to the 2nd floor, and just saw the picture of Shaoli being sent flying as in the original. Do you want to take the exam? Shinya Izumo, who turned into a teenager, mocked, I advise you not to go, children. Steel Zitty, who also used the transformation technique next to him, cooperated. They are all milky imps who have not dried up. Tian held Shaoli and stepped forward with a pleading, please, let's pass. Unfortunately, this is the first test for these candidates, or to screen out those who are indiscriminate. Of course, the 2 gods would not let it go like this, and Shinya Izumo swung a punch at Tiantian's beautiful little face. Of course, this kind of attack is difficult every day, but before their squad comes to compete, they say that they should keep a low profile and not attract the attention of others. Tian could only endure without dodging, intending to take this punch hard. Syllable. Kamizuki Izumo's fist was caught by someone with his bare hands, and it was Naruto who made a move. Hey, don't bully my wife, otherwise I'll go and ask you to pee every day. Shinya Izumo withdrew his fist and said helplessly, you guy, did you recognize it at once? Gang Ziddy followed and complained, it's still so bad. As soon as Naruto approached the entrance of Konoha village, whenever he ran into them on duty, he would always correct them, throw little bugs and pets on them, or suddenly yell in their ears while they doze off, wake them up and get them up to pee. The sudden change made many people interested, but they basically watched quietly from the side, just like the Kaiban where Tian is considering. It is better to keep a low profile at first, and the sooner you jump, the faster you die, Tian. Do you know him? Shaoli looked at the idiot like Tian next to him, and couldn't help but be surprised. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Every day on weekdays is a little boyish, but I didn't expect to have such a small woman, huh? Tian came back to his senses, did not answer Shaoli's words, but said to Naruto with disgust, who is your wife? Don't shout nonsense, it's easy for others to misunderstand. Saying that, he also blushed and covered his face. Originally, there may not be a misunderstanding, but every day this reaction is easier to sit down, there is simply no silver here. 300 taels. Naruto hugged her waist and said with a smile, it's all old husband and wife, why are you so shy, it's not a shame. Oh, who is with your old husband and wife? Don't make trouble, so many people are watching. Tenten quickly broke Naruto's hand. Hey, Naruto, you know them? Sasuke walked over with a cold and proud face, and the more people he pretended, of course, Sasuke didn't ask about Tian and Shaoli. In his eyes these were just two small characters, and Sasuke was referring to the two door gods who stood in the way. I know each other very well, and I see each other almost every day. Naruto looked funny and squeezed his eyes at the two gods. The two gods quickly looked at Naruto with pleading eyes, telling him not to reveal his identity. Naruto waved his hand, that's pretty much it, we're still in a hurry. The two gates were helpless, and Shinya Izumo hummed lightly, I am also for your good, if your strength is not enough, going to take the exam will only bring humiliation to yourself, and you may even lose your life. Gang Ziddy continued, this is our gentleness, listen well, the Zongen exam is a big difficulty. We have seen a lot of people who gave up being ninjas because they took this exam, and guys who were so depressed that they couldn't cheer up. And Naka Shinobi is the level of the captain of the troops, the mission fails, and the subordinates die, this is all the 4.3 responsibility of the captain, can you imps afford this? Shinya Izumo said of course, is there any problem with people who can't pass the exam eating closed-door soup here? Having said that, we still have to get there. Sasuke pretended to beep and said, this enchantment created by illusion, let's quickly lift it. I'm going to the 3rd floor. Those around who didn't see it looked confused. The next development is basically the same as the original, the two main gods who were exposed were not directly released, and the steel iron shot towards Sasuke was stopped by Shaoli. When Shaoli wanted to show his love to Sakura, Naruto blocked him and did not let him succeed. After that, there was the double scene between Ninji and Sasuke, and Ninji did not look up at Naruto because of his different performance from the original. After all, Naruto didn't show any strong memes, which is understandable. Chapter 087. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That guy with a very vicious look, wait a minute. When the three of Naruto were heading to the exam location, Shaoli chased after him from behind. The thick eyebrows scared Sakura out of goosebumps and immediately shrunk behind Naruto. What for? Sasuke looked over with a cold expression. Do you want to fight me now? Shaoli had a serious expression and pointed to himself. My name is Rock Lee. When you ask someone else's name, you must first report your own name, right? Sasuke Uchiha. I want to try it with you, with the last descendant of the clan known as the Genius Ninja. I want to try my tricks to go where you go. And, Sakura, love. You are an angel. Shaoli turned his head to look at Sakura and threw a flying kiss. Don't. Sakura turned pale with fright, not to mention that in front of Naruto, there was no other boy's status at all. Shaoli's appearance alone made Sakura stand upside down, and it was impossible to get involved with the other party at all. Enough is enough. Naruto took Sakura in his arms and kissed her the mouth. 23, so you understand? Sakura is mine, you don't stand a chance. No. Shaoli covered his head with both hands, and half knelt on the ground as if the sky was falling. However, you are not with Tian. Shaoli suddenly thought of this question. Enough. Sasuke interrupted them loudly and cursed in a low voice, what an idiot. Naruto, Sakura, let's go. Maybe Shaoli gave him a strong feeling, but this stupid behavior really made him not interested in fighting. Shaoli rushed over with a few flexible movements and stopped in front of several people. Looking at his serious expression, Sasuke knew that if he didn't make a move, the other party would not stop. Sasuke, just play with him. Naruto didn't want to waste time either, and said to Sasuke, judging from his movements, I'm afraid you are not an opponent by physical skills. Even if you write chakra eyes, you may not be able to keep up with his speed. Be careful yourself. Although Sasuke here has not gone through the mission of the Land of Waves, it seems that he has missed an experience, but his current strength is only stronger than the original, and because Chakra's control ability is much stronger than the original, the Sharingan can already be freely opened and closed. Before that, he also pulled Naruto to practice with him to help him familiarize himself with the Sharingan. Can I see so much with just a few movements? Shaoli glanced at Naruto with some surprise. It seems that this is not an opponent that can be underestimated. The middle ninja exam, sure enough, crouching tiger, hidden dragon, you know that I belong to the Uchiha clan, and you have come to challenge. To be honest, what an ignorant person. Do you want to know what the name means? Sasuke didn't take Naruto's words too seriously, and he still had some contempt for Shaoli in his heart. The other party looked about the same age as them, and among his peers, Sasuke only identified with Naruto alone. Please let me see it. Shaoli had already set up a posture and was ready to fight. Okay, just let me meet you for a while. Sasuke walked towards Shaoli. Sakura glanced at the time and said, it's been less than half an hour since the end of registration. To deal with this kind of guy, 5 minutes is enough. Sasuke was full of confidence. Naruto put his arm around Sakura's shoulders and walked to the side while saying, don't worry, in less than 5 minutes, Sasuke will lose. Huh? Sakura was suddenly a little stunned. Naruto smiled and said, let him suffer a loss, know that there are people outside the people, restrain that arrogant personality, otherwise during the exam, it may become an Achilles heel. To be honest, at the moment, Sasuke is strong, and he has not been beaten by society, and he is too good to be a master, although in the original book, even Sasuke is still the same when he grows up. Compare illusion with Uchiha Itachi, and Yaokira Bibi swordsmanship, and compete with the 4th generation of Thunder Kage. Either you are being beaten, or you are walking on the road to being beaten, but at least he was Naruto's companion now, and if he could, Naruto would be willing to help him turn his personality around. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. As long as you are a little more cautious, Nisuke will not have so many famous scenes of pretending to fail. Bang. As a result, Naruto's thoughts were not finished, and Nisuke had already pretended to fail. Full of confidence, he rushed towards Shaoli and was kicked back by the simple Konoha whirlwind second combo. Sasuke obviously defended it just now, that thick eyebrow is so strong. Sakura listened to Naruto say that Sasuke would be defeated and kept a close watch, but as a bystander, she did not see Shaoli's movements clearly. Abominable. What just happened? Sasuke got up from the ground with a look of pain. It's just a physical skill. Naruto spoke, it's just that his movements are too fast and it is difficult to catch with the naked eye. That's right. Sasuke wiped the scars at the corners of his mouth, regained Long Outin's posture, and said, forget it, since that's the case, then I'll accompany you to have fun for a while. Riding Wheel Eyes. The eyes of the 2-hook jade riding wheel appeared. Ordinary eyes can't see it, but no matter how fast the action is, it can't be hidden in front of the dynamic capture of the chakra eye. That's Sasuke's strength. Can Naruto see my movements clearly? Shaoli glanced at Naruto distractedly. He was already paying more and more attention to Naruto. I always feel that the first place of Sasuke Uchiha, a newcomer, is a bit overnamed. On the contrary, it was Naruto who was tailed by the crane, and it looked even more difficult. At least the 3-person squad they were in seemed to be dominated by Naruto, but... is that the Sharingan? Let's think about it later. Let's focus on dealing with Sasuke for now. Shaoli collected his mind. In the face of the Sharingan, he did not dare to be careless. After all, it was a legendary powerful blood successor. Sasuke 583 has already used the Sharingan, so he won't lose again, right? Sakura asked towards Naruto. That's not accurate. Naruto shrugged. Sometimes even if your eyes see it, it's useless if your body can't keep up. Sasuke despised his opponent too much, and that was his biggest failure. Sure enough, just after 2 rounds of fighting, Sasuke received several attacks, and there were several more scars on his face. Shaoli was ashamed to say that he was a hardworking genius, dedicated to cultivating physical arts, and he could surpass a blood-healed genius like Ujibwa by breaking the limit. While speaking, he also showed his superhuman speed, constantly flashing back and forth around Sasuke, playing the latter around, and the last move of Kage kicked Sasuke into the air. Sasuke, you're too inferior. Say it early to let you be careful. If you need help, just say it. I can't help you, as long as you open your mouth. Naruto held Sakura there and said cool words. This is not listening to Naruto, and suffering a loss in front of you. What a joke. Sasuke was furious, not only because of Shaoli's self-talk and teasing, but also because he didn't want to lose face in front of Naruto. In the nick of time, Sasuke replaced the body that was caught by Shaoli with a shadow doppelganger. His body kicked on the shadow avatar and kicked out along with Shaoli. The body soared into the air, and his hands quickly froze. The art of fireballs. Flowers and flowers, there is actually not a single one today. Chapter 088. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's not good, I can't avoid it. Shaoli's face suddenly changed drastically, and after using the shadow dance leaves, his midway movements were interrupted, and he could not use the moves consistently, and his body was temporarily in a state of stiffness, and Sasuke's shadow avatar has disappeared by his own kick, and now Shaoli's body is completely exposed to the attack range of How Fireball. Sure enough, it is worthy of being the genius of Uchiha. Is this the gap? Shaoli sighed secretly in his heart. It wasn't that he didn't have a way to save him completely, he didn't want to cast it before the official exam, but now he can't help. If he didn't use that trick, he would definitely be injured, and it would definitely affect the Zongnin exam. I'm sorry Kai-sensei, I have to use that trick now. Bang. However, at this moment, the How Fireball in mid-air did not know what to hit, and it exploded directly, quickly disappearing into invisibility, and did not cause damage to Shaoli. At the same time, a toy windmill played by a child passed through the bandage untied from Shaoli's hand and nailed it to the wall. What's going on? Sasuke was startled and immediately rolled over and fell back to the ground from the sky, his face full of vigilance after taking a few steps back. Naruto also stood up with Sakura in his arms and pulled her behind him. For a moment just now, a powerful aura enveloped him, although it was only for a short moment, it made Naruto's body react involuntarily. Now that I think about it, that breath should come from Shaoli's teacher, Mat Kai. That's it, Lee. A red turtle appeared and called Shaoli back. Shaoli squatted in front of the turtle with a depressed expression, with remorse on his face. Lee, that's your forbidden move, right? Yes. I'm sorry. Can't help it. Shaoli crouched in front of the turtle to apologize, a scene that confused both Sakura and Sasuke. That's a turtle, right? Can a turtle also be a ninja's teacher? Sakura had a dull expression, not knowing where to complain at all. Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, damn, I almost lost to this kind of fool. No, Sasuke. Naruto shook his head and pointed his finger. If it weren't for my words to irritate you, you would have already lost. This is not the posture that Uchiha should have. Verbose. Sasuke pouted unwillingly. In terms of hard power, he will not completely lose to Shaoli. It's just the first time I encountered someone who moved faster than his reflex nerves, and I was caught off guard for a while. As long as you're cautious and mentally prepared, you may not know who wins and who loses. Boom. At this time, a cloud of smoke exploded above the turtle, and immediately after, a green watermelon skin in a coquettish pose appeared. Really, but what a youth, you guys. Konoha's proud blue beast Mtlnovel is officially here. Here comes a guy with thicker eyebrows. Sakura and Sasuke's eyes almost flew out, and even Naruto shivered. He really couldn't stand it. the next picture is not much different from the original. Mat Kai severely trained Shaoli, and wanted to drag him to the sunset. Oh no, it's 100 laps at Konoha's training ground towards the sunset. However, considering that the Chunin exam began soon, this training was postponed. Mat Kai showed off his relationship with Kakashi to Naruto and the results of the competition between the two. 50-49, he was slightly better. After saying hello, Mat Kai dodged away. Of course, Naruto knew that he wasn't really showing off, just proud of his relationship with Kakashi. This is a hot-blooded young man who saved Kakashi from the dark abyss. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Although I feel a little disgusted when I first come into contact, it is quite fun to get used to it, and I am quite reliable as a person. Sasuke, I'll say a few last words. Shaoli tied the bandage on his hand and said to Sasuke, to be honest, I came here to confirm my ability, and then challenged you on my own, and I am sorry for that. Also, I'm afraid Konoha is the strongest shinobu in our group. I came to defeat him, and you are also one of my purposes. But now, Naruto-kun, I also hope to have a serious fight with you. When it comes to the exam, please be enlightened. After that, without waiting for Sasuke and Naruto to respond, a few jumps left here. Sasuke gritted his teeth and couldn't help but clench his fists. Shaoli's words reminded him of the white-eyed boy who had provoked him on the second floor before. Is Konoha the strongest to endure? Shaoli had already seen Sasuke's strength, and since he dared to say such a thing, it showed that the white-eyed boy's strength was much stronger than what the two had just shown. Interesting. After a long moment, Sasuke couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. It is precisely because there are too many powerful characters that it is more worthy of him. Naruto, do you know anything about these people? Sasuke turned to look at Naruto. I don't know when Naruto became completely different from the previous ninja school period. No matter what happens, they can say a set of theories, and they know a lot of things that they don't know. Because of the sunset, no one doubted the origin of Naruto's knowledge, and this time Shaoli and the white-eyed boy, maybe Naruto has not contacted, but he doesn't know the girl who Shaoli is on the same team. It's just that Sasuke's little motivation that was hard to rise almost collapsed after looking at Naruto. Sakura was probably also frightened by Shaoli's last words, while Naruto was comforting her, and the way to comfort is that if no one is holding it in your arms, those hands are very dishonest. Hey, don't go too far. Sasuke blushed and roared angrily. Is he really transparent? Sakura exclaimed, burying her head in Naruto's arms with a look of shame. Naruto didn't care. It wasn't that he had a hobby of being a minotaur, it was that he knew that Sasuke would not take this kind of thing to heart at all, and that something more out of line certainly could not be done in Sasuke's face. Is this a matter of eating a long and a wise? Naruto looked at Sasuke with a smile, and still briefly introduced the information of Shaoli and Ninji. After that, he concluded, Shaoli's words are not unreasonable. Hinata Ninji is indeed qualified to be called Konoha's strongest shinobi. Of course, it can only be said that it is under the norm. Old man Kosuke can't be counted as a regular shinobi, and Naruto is not a regular shinobi either. As for Sasuke, he was indeed no match for Ninji now, but we can still grow. Strength or not depends on potential, and the ultimate achievement can determine a person's value. And you can't focus all on your own people. The people from other villages who were sent to Konoha to take the Chunin exam are basically killers in their villages. Among those people, there will definitely be unexpected existences, just like the sand ninja we met the other day with a gourd on his back. Chapter 089. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Arriving at the exam room, Kakashi was already waiting outside the door. You are my proudest disciples. Preaching like the original, and showing trust and approval for the three, Kakashi squinted and smiled and sent the three into the examination room. There were already more than 100 students in the examination room, and the atmosphere was depressed, so Sakura couldn't help but lean closer to Naruto's side. Naruto-kun, you're so slow. Ino didn't know where to jump out and threw himself directly on Naruto's back, apparently having been waiting here for a long time, waiting for Naruto to come in. As soon as I thought of being able to see Naruto who I hadn't seen for a long time, I had been waiting with anticipation. Speaking of which, everyone has been doing their own tasks recently, and the two have indeed not seen each other for some days. At that time, after saving Ino from the hands of Tuanzo, the relationship between the two has developed closer, and it is no wonder that Ino's heart has been turbulent today. Sakura rarely competed with Ino anymore, but she was somewhat unhappy about it. And even the little tension just now was washed away by Ino. Shikamaru and Dingji Hangerlangdang walked over, one complaining that the trouble was dying, and the other eating potato chips like crazy. So, seeing acquaintances gathered, the 8th class also followed. Shino had no sense of existence as always, and his teeth shouted that Naruto must see how powerful he was for the Chunin exam. Hinata has changed a lot. The last time we were on an escort mission with 537, Naruto helped her build up her confidence. Now she is not as timid as before, and she walks with her head held high. However, there is still no change in terms of gentleness, otherwise it will really become the eldest sister in the limited monthly reading. Hey, it's better to be quiet. Yakushi appeared at the right time. You 9, are you 9 newcomers who have just graduated from ninja school and have just been baked? He looks so cute and noisy. Really, it's not going hiking. Who are you? Why is it so remarkable? Ino glared unpleasantly. I'm a medicine man. The medicine master went around for a while, and then promoted the juniors as a person who came over and provided them with intelligence. In fact, he was also collecting information on the 9 newcomers in disguise. Naruto knew all about this, but he didn't care. In the end, the pharmacist's pocket in the early stage is to beat soy sauce, which belongs to the small transparent next to the big snake pill, and there is nothing to be afraid of. So, while Yakushi was talking, Naruto was holding Sakura in his left hand, Hinata with his right hand, and an Ino lying on his back. If there is no one next to the 4 of them, it really makes many single Wong crazy with jealousy. In the crowd, Temari in the sand hidden squad kept glaring at this side with anger. Before he said that he wanted to enter her house, but now he actually plays so much. Men are really big pigs trotters. Hey, every day, is Naruto actually such a person? Shaoli looked at Naruto's side with wide eyes, and he had a feeling that the 3 views were shattered. Naruto's left and right hugging appearance caused a 1,000-fold critical blow to his pure love boy's heart. Shut up. Tion is actually a little irritable. However, she was affected by the Asura buff, and she was only sulking with anger, but she didn't really break off Naruto because of this, not mentioning the reactions of those people. After the medicine master completed his task, he deliberately belittled Inin village. The Inin team really couldn't help but shoot at him, and cooperated with the medicine master to complete a clumsy performance. That is the God's 6 Tao TOS. It is really scary enough, and one of the big bosses in the later stage will be beaten and vomit blood with one blow, which is something that even the Dirt Weasel plus Eternal Eye Sasuke can't do. Naruto gave a simple glance, a playful smile on the corner of his mouth, but the farce is only a farce after all, and with the appearance of the examiner Mori Ibi, everyone begins to take their seats in an orderly manner. Naruto-kun, let's work together. Naruto's right-hand side was still sitting the cute little Hinata, smiling shy at him. The exam is the most troublesome. Naruto sighed, I would rather find a place where no one is there to discuss life with you. Heck, if you look at it this way, Hinata is really cute. Hinata's face suddenly blushed with shame, and he did not speak. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Naruto, CDH, liked her. Of course she was happy, but no matter how her personality changes, she can't make out with Naruto in public. When I was held just now, I was caught off guard, and I didn't have time to react at all. Fortunately, it has changed a lot, and although my heart beats fast, I have not fainted after all. The written exam process is boring, and Naruto actually has many ways to cheat if he wants to. For example, well, it seems that I haven't really learned this ability. Kagura's heart, I can only sense other people's chakra, and the wind escape has no refractive effect. King Kong blockade. Flying Thor. Shadow doppelganger. Enchantment. Not. Naruto felt that if he didn't cheat anyway, the final result would be the same, so there was really no need to bother with this effort. Yes, he just doesn't want to bother, or wait to lie down and win. So in the end, Naruto handed in the white paper like the original and successfully passed the first assessment, but because he didn't slap the table on the 10th question like in the original, there were many fewer people who successfully stayed for the second assessment. The original book has 26 squads with a total of 78 people participating in the second game, and now there are only 20 squads. 18 less, the competitiveness is small, but for the second assessment, the difficulty has increased. After all, there are 3 sets of books of heaven and earth all of a sudden, and the probability of passing becomes smaller, syllable. As Ibiki announces the results of the first exam, the glass window of the classroom is smashed, and Matarai red beans appear in an unexpected way. Now is not the time to be happy. The red bean opened a curtain and it said, "Second trial examiner, Matarai red bean see you. I'm the examiner for the second exam, Mitarashi Azuki bean. Next, everyone follow me." Red Bean raised his right hand high and shouted vigorously. Everyone looked at her blankly, either not reacting, or secretly cursing the idiot in their hearts. Naruto was very interested, and the 2 balls in front of him were really powerful. Round and tumbling, it is much more eye-catching than crane wings blowing snow. Yo West. Naruto cooperated and stood up with his right hand raised. Who let him be a gentleman, and he couldn't see Red Bean being treated coldly. It's just that this behavior makes the girls who care about him cover their faces, and the other men roll their eyes. What 2 big idiots. Not bad, little ghost, very conscious. Then in the next second exam, I will take more care of you. Azuki was satisfied with Naruto's cooperation and clenched his teeth happily. That sassy look still looks quite good. Hey, is that how Konoha's rules come about? What a blatant opening of the back door. Hondo's words fell, and immediately other candidates were unhappy and questioned in person. Chapter 090. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sincere. A bitter shot shot out and flew past the ear of the candidate who opened his mouth to protest, cutting off a strand of his hair. In a flash, the red bean had appeared behind him, and he caught the kunai with his hand. How? Do you have an opinion? Red beans put ku-wu on each other's necks, didn't? No, the candidate's body stiffened, and cold sweat trickled down his forehead. In this case, who dares to have an opinion? If you have an opinion, you have to hold it back. Go. The rest of the candidates looked at the red beans with some surprise. The surface looked unremarkable, and even grinned. The strength was actually so strong. The actions of the red beans just now, there were very few people present who could see clearly. Good boy. Hondo chuckled and patted the examinee's head, took back the kunai, and then returned to the podium. If nothing happened, after this trouble, everyone did not dare to despise red beans anymore. Seeing that the atmosphere in the classroom had changed, Hondo couldn't help but nod with satisfaction. 60 people. Ibiki, there are actually 20 teams left, the first exam of this year. Too soft. Red Bean turned his head and said to Ibiki, who had just poked his head out by the curtain. After all, it was Ibiki, and in the case of his proctoring, those who could successfully pass the exam were more often in single digits, and sometimes even wiped out, so there are still 20 teams at the moment, which surprised Hondo. There are a lot of excellent guys this year. Ibiki smiled. He was actually quite surprised. All right. Hondo turned to face the candidate, put his hands in his waist, and straightened up to look more eye-catching. The second exam, knock you out below half. Many people were frightened by Hondo's words, and they were actually eliminated by half at once, and this middle ninja exam was too cruel. It's really exciting. I'll talk about it in detail tomorrow. Wait for a different place. The venue and time of the gathering, just ask your Shainin sensei. Stop here, disband. As a result, the second exam did not start immediately because it was almost dark. Hondo was still enthusiastic to let everyone follow her just now, and it disbanded like this? The candidates present were a little confused, but they were also relieved in their hearts. The previous written test caused them considerable psychological pressure, so take the opportunity to relax and adjust. Naruto-kun, then I'll go back first. Hinata blushed and said goodbye to Naruto. Now she is no longer so soft-spoken, and she can also raise her head and stand up, speaking in a firm tone, and daring to look directly at Naruto. However, when facing Naruto, she always feels shy because of Naruto's various closeness to her, but this feeling is not annoying. Great, everyone passed the first exam. Sakura ran over and hugged Naruto's arm, which was almost exclusive to her. This kind of exam is just pediatrics. I hope to hurry up and carry out the actual battle. Sasuke snorted coldly. Today's written exam made him feel very boring, but he passed, and I hope the next exam will make him more excited. Listen to what that red bean examiner means, tomorrow's exam will definitely be difficult. Sakura was a little worried. Naruto chuckled, if there is no accident, it should be a wild survival challenge, and when the time comes, it will act as a squad. Rest assured Sakura, I will definitely protect you. Survival in the wild. Sakura and Sasuke were startled at the same time. Naruto explained, in the past, the Chunin exam was basically like this, and the first written exam tested the ability to gather intelligence. The second wild survival is mainly a competition between teams while surviving in the wild. The third exam is the individual competition. The process is like this, and the specific details will be adjusted according to the examiner, but basically it is very different. As long as the strength is strong enough, it can pass no matter what. So it is. Sasuke suddenly felt the bottom of his heart, and waved his hand, then see you tomorrow. Naruto shouted at his departing figure, the second exam may last for several days, you need to keep your energy and pay attention to moderation when you go back. Sasuke, who was about to leave quickly, stumbled on his feet, almost fell to the ground, and then left at a faster pace. Hey, hey, hey. Naruto couldn't help but laugh wickedly. In fact, he had already used the Shadow Avatar plus transformation technique to quietly go to Sasuke's residence to see it. Sure enough, Sasuke had 3 commoner daughters in his house, not too old, none of them more than 20 years old. The appearance and figure are also middle to upper postures in Naruto's opinion, and they all have the style of a good wife and good mother. I have to say that Sasuke's aesthetics are not bad, no matter how you look at it. Those 3 women are a little biased towards Uchiha Mikoto in terms of temperament. Does Sasuke think that this kind of woman is more suitable for staying at home, or does he have an Oedipal plot? Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. In any case, Naruto could see that none of the 3 women were girls anymore, which showed that Sasuke was indeed working hard to revitalize the clan. I just don't know if he will go to the big snake pill in this way, and whether he can cut off the fetters for the sake of strength. This is an interesting proposition. Naruto-kun, will it be that because my strength is too weak, it will drag you and Sasuke back when the time comes, so that you will not be able to pass the exam? Sakura was still a little apprehensive in her heart. Even if he has learned some simple medical techniques and can use Sakura Rushi similar to the strange power fist, but Sakura has never had much confidence. After all, she is just a civilian and a girl, and in the entire ninja system, she belongs to the bottom. Now that the Zonnin exam has just begun, she has already seen a number of powerful guys with extraordinary strength, such as the Sand Hidden Squad, Shaoli, and a Hinata ninja who is said to be much stronger than Shaoli. Naruto and Sasuke might have a chance to compete, but she was worried that not only would she not be able to help, but she would also drag her feet. In the original book, she was not so intimate, and she was also in contact with Naruto for a long time and was affected. Be confident, Sakura. Naruto hugged her and said, don't you think about it, you eliminated so many people during the written exam just now, but you managed to stay with your own ability, and the whole process is easier than everyone, right? With this alone, you are already more powerful than 80% of the candidates, so this can't make you confident, right? Believe in yourself, you are much better than most candidates, you are not an ordinary vase is not worth my favor. Naruto's words still had an effect, and Sakura's eyes gradually became firm. You're right, Naruto-kun. Sakura said in a firm tone, I am better than most, and I am the only woman who can stay with Naruto-kun. Naruto scratched his head, that's not what he meant to say. But forget it, as long as Sakura doesn't get tangled, it's good to play normally during the exam. Moreover, Sakura, who is confident, is as handsome as the heroic Sakura brother, so, let's study the subject of conquest and surrender a little. Sakura blushed and said, didn't you just tell Sasuke to be moderate? That's Sasuke, I don't need it. Naruto rightfully said 0. Chapter 091. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is the second exam venue, practice 44. Also known as the Forest of Death, you can experience it for yourself right away. The next day, outside the Forest of Death, all the reference candidates gathered, and Red Bean stood in front and began to explain. Just as she was about to continue speaking, the words that came to her mouth were swallowed back. Hey, over there, what are you doing? Red Bean couldn't help but growl, "It's too faceless. Yesterday I was full of passion for everyone to follow her, and I almost went cold. Today they are all adjusted, and they have just spoken, but someone is deserting." Looking closely, it was actually the yellow-haired imp who cooperated with her yesterday. "Come and come, everyone one by one, eat more to replenish some physical strength. There will be no time when the exam starts in a while." Naruto held a few strings of balls in his hand and gave a string of 757 to several girls around him, Sakura, Ino, Hinata, Tenten, and then he ran to the Tsunahide squad and gave Temari a string, although Temari was a little embarrassed, seeing that Konoha Shika had taken it and eaten it. She was also attracted by the scent of the ball, and then took over Naruto's kindness with a hint of shyness. Of course, boys don't have a share, so Kankuro was very upset and said, "Hey Temari. We are competitors now, aren't you afraid that he will poison it?" "What a villain's heart." Naruto pouted, grabbed Temari's hand and bit off half of her string of balls, swallowing it directly into her stomach in front of everyone. "Of course, the beautiful young lady is used for love, how can she be poisoned? No wonder you are so unlikable to girls. Right, Miss Temari, you must be annoying him very much, right? Otherwise, if you jump ship to Konoha, I'll team up with you. I will definitely protect you to the death." Naruto gave a thumbs up to Temari, and still learned Shaoli's movements and croaked his teeth, but unfortunately there was no flash. "What do you say? Stinky imp, want to fight?" Kankuro immediately became angry and was trampled on by Naruto. "Shut up, Kankuro." Iai Luo was quite upset about this, glared at Temari again, and said coldly, "Temari, deal with it quickly." He was still in a hurry to go to the examination room to kill. What is this farce-like behavior? Temari was reluctant to throw away the balls Naruto gave her, but she hesitated a little when she looked at the half-bitten balls. "Doesn't taste good?" "No, this is really delicious." Naruto picked another ball and bit off half of it, enjoying it, and then patted his head and said, "I know, you must be embarrassed to eat in front of so many people, really a good woman. Well, in that case, I'll help you block your sight, and feed you by the way." Naruto stepped forward, almost attaching it to Temari, and then bit off half of the third ball. This time, instead of swallowing, he held it between his teeth and leaned towards Temari. Temari had a black line on her face. Did this guy really come to invite her to eat balls? Obviously trying to take advantage. Little ghost, have a lot of fun. Just at this time, Azuki discovered the situation on this side, came behind Naruto, patted him on the shoulder and smiled. "It's just that no matter how you look at it, there is killing intent hidden in that smile." "Oh, Red Bean Examiner. Do you want me to feed it too?" Naruto didn't feel anything wrong with his actions at all. "Half of the balls that I had to feed Temari just now turned around and sent them to the red beans. This guy. It's shameless." All the examinees around were stunned. There was actually such a strange thing in Konoha Shinobu? But think about it, the ninja world is so big, what kind of strange things? Anyway, it doesn't matter to themselves, and others are basically just watching from the sidelines with the attitude of watching a good show. Of course, some people who were not used to Naruto's behavior were only secretly pondering in their hearts, and when they had the opportunity, they would be the first to kill him first. Naruto was basically covering his face at the same time, and even several girls who ate Naruto's balls didn't recognize him. It's really fun to get along with Naruto, and that's why I like to talk about this stinky problem everywhere. But if he didn't have this stinky problem, many people wouldn't know him. "You kid is quite bold, even I dare to tease." Hondo smiled, and actually didn't care at all. She stretched out her long tongue and directly rolled away the half of the ball between Naruto's teeth, and then chewed it and quickly swallowed it into her stomach. "Well, if that long tongue is used in the right place, it must be very comfortable, right?" "Huh." The red bean's eyes lit up, and they were actually quite delicious. "It's delicious, isn't it?" Naruto also smiled and said proudly, "I made this with my own hands, I can't buy it outside." Red Bean patted Naruto on the shoulder, and suddenly said with a shy face, "If you give me a few more strings, I won't think about you about what you disturbed the exam just now." All the candidates around are stunned. "Isn't it? Is this examiner so easy to buy?" "I'm sorry." Naruto spread his hands and said, the string that I gave to Miss Temari just now is already the last bunch, and you have eaten half of it. Temari and red beans are both black lines, this matter is actually embarrassed to bring it up directly. A string of balls Naruto skewered 5, Temari on the hand, 3 of them were already half bitten off by Naruto, Temari tangled for a moment, but still handed the string of balls to the red beans. Examiner, if you don't dislike it, give it to you. Temari actually wanted to taste it, but after all, she was bitten by Naruto, she was not as faceless and skinless as Red Bean. The red beans were indeed not disgusted, and directly took half of them and threw them into his mouth, and chuckled, very good, you candidates in this year, you are quite energetic. Miss Temari, go to my house after the exam, I will make you more and let you eat. Naruto grimaced and gave a fawning expression to Toju. Temari smiled slightly and said, then it depends on what the situation is at that time. Although the matter of Tsunehide and Otoen joining forces, Temari still doesn't know, but he has received a little wind, knowing that this 0.4 ninja exam was not simply sent to take the exam. Can I go too? Hondo's eyes lit up and came directly over. Naruto looked disgusted and said, you're an examiner, shouldn't you be in charge of the exam now? Oh yes, almost forgot. Hondo slapped his forehead, threw the last ball into his mouth, with a look of enjoyment on his face, and said at the same time, your balls are the most delicious balls I have ever eaten, so I forgot about business. Then next, before the second exam starts, I'm going to send this to you first, read the violent novel, go on the Faloo novel network. Red Bean finished the last ball before getting down to business. This kind of behavior makes those candidates feel quite unreliable, but fortunately, Hondo is only responsible for explaining the rules, and it does not affect the specific assessment situation.